So the other day my kid asked me, what's the difference between a major and a minor chord? The simple answer is a major chord is a happy sounding chord, and a minor chord is a sad sounding chord. Another way of answering this question is in terms of the major scale. And the numbers of those notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A major chord is 1, 3, 5. This is called a major third. In relation to the other notes, it's basically the note that gives it the happy sound. And the difference between a major and a minor chord is to just lower this major third down a half step or one key on the piano or one fret on a guitar, and then you have a minor chord. Another simple way to look at this is if we play a major chord and we count the notes in between, there's 3 of them there and there's 2 of them here. So if we slide this anywhere on the piano keyboard and we go 1, 2, 3 notes in between, 1, 2 in between, then we can play basically any major and minor chord anywhere, because now we know that the difference between major and minor is just modifying this middle note down a half step. Right? Okay, so let's go somewhere else. Let's pick this starting point. 3 notes in between the first and second, and then 2 notes in between the next notes of the chord. So that we have a major chord starting at B flat here, B flat minor, this one. So again, if you start with the C major chord and you notice that there's 3 notes between these 2 notes, 2 notes between these 2 notes, and you think about moving that chord anywhere you want. So say you start with F sharp here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 notes in between, and then 1, 2 notes in between the next. Now you have, this is F sharp, so you have F sharp major, and like we talked about a minute ago, to change it to minor we just lower this a half step to here. So basically, by knowing the C major chord here, you essentially know every major and minor chord just by sliding that and being able to modify the third or the middle note. Right? Now let's go one step further, because when you start putting chords together and figuring out other people's songs or writing your own songs, you're going to see 7th chords. And let's talk about what those are. It's actually very simple. So to play a 7th chord, you're simply going to go and find a note that is a full step below this note. So C would be B flat, right? But you want to usually put that above the chord. So find the B flat up here. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Let's slide anywhere, right? Okay, so here, let's start with F. Okay, how do we make an F major chord? 3 notes in between, 2 notes in between the next. Okay, there's F major. Okay, and then we ask ourselves, what is 2 keys or a whole step or 2 half steps below the F note? Well, it's this note, and then we go up and find it above. Okay, so there's F7. So to review all of this, so starting with the C major chord, we have the 1, 3, and 5. This we call a major third. This we call a minor third. And that's the difference between a major and a minor chord. It's simply this interval meaning distance from the starting note. If it's here, it's happy and major. If it's here, it's sad sounding. and minor. Okay, and then we took that next step and said, okay, if we play a C major chord, we want to play a 7th chord version of that, so we know that we would just go down a whole step to the B flat note, but put that on the top of the chord usually. So there's C7. Now how would we do C minor 7? Well, we know that the difference between major and minor is just that third. So there's C minor 7. So with a really small amount of music theory knowledge, you can learn all of the major and minor chords and 7th chords on a piano very easily. And you can basically apply this thinking onto a guitar. If you play your guitar and you play a C major chord and you think about the notes here on the piano and how you would change these from major and minor, you can start to apply that same thinking onto your guitar fretboard, that you can find all of the chords there just with a little bit of music theory understanding. There's a concept of chord voicings that I want to explain. It's basically to take those notes, C, E, and G, and play them elsewhere. Play a lower C, for example. Maybe play a couple low C's there. And then play your G and C and E up here. So you get this beautiful full sounding chord. It's still made up of the notes C, C, G, C, E. In other words, it's just made out of the notes C, E, and G, just spread across the keyboard a little bit, right? It gives you a lot different sound than just playing. So if you learn all of your chords, major, minor, 7th chords, and you start to kind of spread the voicing of the chord out across the keyboard in that way, you get a really beautiful sound. Then you kind of put your chord progressions together in that way where you're spreading the chords out, and you can do it in a way where you don't have to move your hands a lot in between the chords as well. So that concept of chord voicing is extremely powerful in music. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be posting more of these videos soon.